the TCI Sports High School Football Game of the Week. Tonight from Avondale High School, it's the Clawson Trojans taking on the Avondale Yellow Jackets. Hello, everyone. Dave Zorn along with Bob Briglack here at Avondale High School, where tonight it's a windy night, Bob, and two strong teams. Actually, the records don't reflect it for Avondale. They're 1-3, but the Clawson Trojans are 4-0.
Coach Dick Moore says it's the best 1-3 team he's going to play this year, and I'll tell you what, the records mean nothing today. This is the best game you're going to see all year on this table.
Okay, they were favored in the MOAC to be 1-2. The Clawson Trojans favored to win the MOAC, and the Yellow Jackets favored to come in second place. Right now with a 1-3 record, though, they could make it tight, though. Interesting after this game.
Last game they lost 7-6 to Centerline. Their offense had a little problem getting on track. Today they're at home. Maybe we'll see a different story.
Okay, we'll be back with the kickoff of tonight's game right after these messages. Stay with us.
Vince, that new dummy cam is great.
Yeah, it'll sure give people a whole new outlook on what it's like when you don't wear a safety belt.
I think they'll get the picture.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
Oakland Press Perspective with Neil Monroe is an informative talk show that discusses issues often overlooked by broadcast stations. Neil Monroe, the editor of the Oakland Press newspaper, will keep you abreast on hot topics, events, and issues taking place in Oakland County. So for news you can use, join Neil Monroe every week on the Oakland Press Perspective, Friday night at 8:30 on TCI 63. TCI Sports Game of the Week. This week we're at Avondale High School here in Auburn Hills, where the Yellow Jackets host the Trojans. And the records for these two teams last season, as we see the Trojans 7-0, 8-1 overall, and first place finish for them. Avondale 4-3 in the conference and 5-4 overall in Rick Brewer's last year here. Currently 2-0 for the Trojans in the conference, 4-0 overall. And for the Yellow Jackets, 1-1 in the conference, 1-3 overall. But still, Bob, if they win tonight, they can tie Clawson for that lead.
It's a real big game here for Avondale. There's your list right there of the conference. You can see Clawson 2-0, 4-0 overall. And there's a big log jam there with one win after that. So a lot of things could happen still in this conference. Centerline is in command with a 3-1 there. Last week, this same Avondale team played Centerline to a 7-6 game. They lost 7-6. Close game, but obviously they needed to win that one. And this is probably the biggest game of their year.
You can see Dick Moore there with the white hat on. He has been there for 13 years as head coach of the Trojans. And it looks like the Trojans will be kicking off. There we see the head coach in his first year at head coach, Tony Messina, for the Yellow Jackets.
First year, but he doesn't lack experience, Dave. He's been with the team for 18 years as a defensive line coach, so he's been with the team for a while. It shouldn't affect his play calling at all.
And the Trojans to kick off. This one goes deep, and the wind at their backs, and this will go in and out of the end zone. He's got to pick it up. And taking it down the sideline is Kenneth Hutchins. Hutchins goes out near the 20-yard line. He'll be just shy of it. And that's where the Yellow Jackets start, at about the 18-yard line.
That was an excellent break right there. The ball took a spin backwards, never broke the plane of the goal line. Since it didn't, that ball has to be brought out. It is a live ball. If he didn't jump on it, obviously there's a great opportunity there for the Trojans. He did get the ball out and brought it out for a reasonable field position, almost to the 20.
1st and 10, ball on the 18-yard line for the Yellow Jackets. Kenneth Hutchins, the quarterback. Split backfield and one receiver down at the bottom of the screen. The handoff goes to number 30. And tough to see who that was. Let's see. The crowd here at Avondale some of the best fans, I should say, in the MOAC is the Oakland Press States.
They're a little sparse here today. It's a kind of a windy, cool, rainy type day. Shouldn't affect the play at all, but it has kept the fans away.
Scanlon on the tackle for Clawson that time. Hutchins takes it himself and falls down the line of scrimmage. And nothing there. And it'll bring up a 3rd and long now for the Yellow Jackets.
Dave, we were down on the field prior to the game, and it didn't seem like the field was in bad condition at all. A little moist potentially from the rain earlier this morning, but the light drizzle right now is not affecting their footing at all. He just basically slipped on that play.
3rd and about 11. They lost a little bit on that one. Hutchins, quick pitch. Out to the right side and trying to break it, but getting him down there was number 21, Brian Fisher, on the tackle as Joey Allen tried to break it outside and didn't get much there. 4th and a punting down now.
Watch this pitch, Dave. It almost goes behind him. There's no fake on that play. Here's the pitch just behind him. You can take a look. He had to wait for it, come back. Cornerback fills up quickly and makes the tackle. That's number 21 in there for the Clawson team. That's Brian Fisher.
Gain of about 3 yards on it. 4th and 7 now and a punting down. And punting into the wind is Tim Grant for Avondale. He loses it. And the Trojans get him deep inside the 5-yard line. And Clawson comes up with a big mistake. And they are about 4 or 5 yards away. They mark it at the 6.
Watch this. It's an excellent snap right in his hands. He just basically loses sight of the ball. Closed his eyes before he had it. 33 on the tackler, Dave Aller. Excellent field position for Clawson. This is a big break for them on the 3-yard line. Actually, they put it back to the 5. That's where his knee touched. It was a good snap. Just took his eye off the ball.
Ball just outside the 5-yard line, Bob, at the 6. And the Clawson Trojans in business. Aaron Schmaltz, the quarterback, with the full backfield. Fakes it to the fullback, goes to the tailback, number 21. And that is Brian Fisher, the captain. Brian had a problem last week, but he bounces back this week.
He had a little woozy, got hit in the head, and he got pulled out. You can see Brian right here. This is when they run the full house in the backfield. The first fake up the middle, that's going to freeze the linebackers up the middle. There's the fake. You come back out to Fisher, who cuts inside the linebacker, filling the gap, and almost gets down in for a touchdown. Just short of the goal line and about the 1.
It's a long one.
Okay, how about a short 2? We'll give it either one.
Short 2. 2nd and goal from, and a timeout as Brian Fisher calls a timeout quickly. The Trojans do not want to make any mistakes here. They are in ideal position to get 6 points on the board early here, and they want to make sure they get in the end zone. So timeout is called. And don't forget to tune in to the Roadshow video program Saturday and Monday at 9 p.m. when Brad and Pat take you out to Almont, Michigan for paintball. That's what we're not starting a war. They're not going to Bosnia-Herzegovina. They're going to play paintball. And it's a friendly game, I guess.
It's a friendly game, right? They wear all kinds of protective material, particularly around the eyes and face area. So I'm sure they don't shoot up there. They probably shoot in other parts of the body.
Well,
you get more points, I guess, if you do it that way. I don't know.
Depends how your eyesight is if you can even do it. Dick Moore with his back to us there. Looking it over. 2nd down and goal from the 2. Fake to the fullback, handoff again to Fisher. Fisher gets in, touchdown.
Same play they ran the first play of the drive. Fake to the fullback, which pinches the linebackers in. That's the key to the play. Take a look right here. Here's the fake to the fullback. Running up the middle. Linebackers pinch in just a hair. Great block out there by number 42. Almost didn't get the block down on him. But
didn't sustain it.
Didn't sustain it, that's right. And almost a good tackle in there by Jason Hansen. Not the Jason Hansen kicker, but the outside linebacker for Avondale.
And speaking of kickers, Eric Hayes put that one up high. No one's going to block those. The extra point is good, and the Clawson Trojans lead 7-0 here with 8:26 left in the first quarter.
Very short drive, Dave, set up by that fumble of the punt. Of course, he's trying to get the ball off quickly against the wind. That might have had something to do with him taking his eye off the ball. but a 5-yard drive makes it a little easy for that Trojan team.
And here we see Tony Messina in his first year as head coach here for the Yellow Jackets. 1-3 coming in overall, but 1-1 in the conference, and this could be a big victory here if he can pull one off against the Trojans and tie them at 2-2 in the or 2-1 in the conference.
They looked a little hesitant in the backfield on their first drive. They didn't really get much of an offensive line push. Look for him here to run something a little more simple without pulling a guard or a tackle, potentially go over tackle or over guard and potentially get some positive yardage.
The second kickoff here in this quarter, and a sidewinder, and this one goes into the end zone. And the Yellow Jackets will have it at the 20. You've got a strong leg in Eric Hayes, the kicker for Clawson, and the wind is really helping him tonight, Bob.
Dick Moore had mentioned they went for a 44-yarder last week and just barely missed it wide, so he's got the leg to get that leg down there. With the wind at his back, he's going to try to take advantage and pin Avondale back in that 20-yard line area.
And trying a 44-yarder last week, and with this wind at his back, he wouldn't even be surprised if they could make a 50 even.
Well, I doubt if they'll go for a field goal depending on the score. We'll see what happens.
Here come the Yellow Jackets. Kenneth Hutchins, a quarterback, 2 men in the backfield, and jumping off sides is Paul Means for Clawson. So the Yellow Jackets draw the Trojans off, and they'll get a 1st and 5 now.
Means was coming up, it looked like on a safety blitz of some sort, and just jumped the gun.
Offsides on the Trojans, and now the Yellow Jackets get a little bit of room to breathe in, and now the rain is starting to come down as the umbrellas pop out.
They were expecting rain pretty much all night tonight. It'll be a light drizzle potentially, so it shouldn't affect the game too much, but we've seen a couple of slips already. The field might get wet quick and have an effect on this game.
Hutchins now in a 1st and 5. Hands off to his first man through. And that looked like number 32 or 22, excuse me, Joey Allen on the carry.
Getting back to some basics there, just on a short delay, trying to run upfield, over tackle, let that offensive line surge, push the defenders back enough so where he can pick a hole. It wasn't a hole, did get a yard or two.
Allen gains about a couple yards. It'll be 2nd and 3 coming up.
What is that, Dave?
There's our Yellow Jacket.
That is the Yellow Jacket, okay.
That is the Yellow Jacket.
It was a little close there.
Not a killer bee, not to be confused with a killer bee. In motion is Deshaun Allen. On the carry again, Joey Allen. And he gains maybe a yard or two again, a yard this time. It'll be 2nd or 3rd down rather, and a long yard to go.
Rob Schultz made a great play that time on it as a tackle coming in and just stuffed him as he got to the line of scrimmage. A great tackle, left him short of the 1st down, 3rd and 1. Not getting much on those running plays. They're going to have to get that offensive line going. Of course, this Clawson Trojan team's a pretty large team, so they're going to have a hard time doing it.
Watch for Hutchins to keep it this time, Bob. He's a good runner. And they need a 1 yard, a long one. Let's see if he takes it. Nope, he'll hand off to the first man through, and he does. It's Joey Allen on the straight dive, and they pick up probably one of the biggest gains of the game so far.
Brian Fisher tried to fill as a safety. You can take a look right here. He's right up on the line of scrimmage, knowing they're going to go for the dive play. He's going right over tackle, bumps into his own man. Fisher fights off a defender or a guard there and makes the tackle, along with number 25. That's Dave Whitelum.
Joey Allen picks up 5 on the play.
That's their biggest play of the day, too.
Yep. And it's a 1st and 10 from the 29-yard line. Hutchins keeps it himself. Hutchins breaks it outside, and an even bigger gain that time. And that's what I thought they were going to do on that 3rd down play. He's a very quick runner, and with the option, he chose to give it to his tailback.
Well, here's the fake. This is what sets the play up right here. The offensive line, look at the surge. They're pushing in. Everybody thinks the play is going off tackle there. He pulls the ball back and has a nice run off the end of the run there. Beautiful tackle there right at the end. Just got him on his feet, pushed him out of bounds.
Gain of about 7 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 3 coming up now for the Yellow Jackets. Pro formation, 2 men in the backfield for the Yellow Jackets. Kenneth Hutchins, a quarterback, gives it to his first man through, and they stack him up, but he falls forward for a couple, and it's going to be 3rd and about 1 coming up.
Hutchins got hit after the play that time. Dave Aller came up and popped him just in case he did have the ball on the fake. So the defense is looking for the quarterback to keep the ball, and they're going to try to set that up with that dive play.
Paul Means, number 4 in there, and he's been putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. 3rd and 1, Joey Allen on the carry, and he's hit for a loss.
Paul Means is listed at 5'10", 145. I'll tell you what, let's take a look at this penetration in the backfield right here. As they come in, great penetration, pulls him down by his shirt tail. Good tackle. That shows a lot of strength there.
Dale Bowlby, 39, leading the way that time, but the defense getting through. Timeout down on the field for Avondale as they'll think this one over. Ball at about the 42-yard line, and the Yellow Jackets call timeout. There you see Tony Messina heading out on the field.
I think he's going to come out and just tell him, make sure that he don't drop the ball on the punt.
Don't forget to tune into the Master Angler program as Mark Gomez keeps you on top of your fishing techniques and tips and things like that. And he's had people like Babe Winkleman on there, Bob Griglack. Wait, have you been on there yet?
I have not been on yet.
I can't believe that.
He has asked me.
Mark Gomez has had a lot of people on his show, but he hasn't had the master, I would say, Bob Griglack.
Well, there's a key to fishing. You can catch the biggest, the most, and the first. And if you can do those 3, you're a master angler.
And what about those you don't catch, the ones that got away?
Those are where the stories come in the bar.
Okay.
Okay. The more you drink, the more stories.
Okay. Not that we're condoning that, folks.
No. We're talking apple cider here. This is the time of the season.
That's exactly what we're talking about. There is the mascot, the Yellow Jackets. 4th down and a must now. 4th and 3. This is a big down here, and they're going to punt it away.
Nice punt.
They called the timeout, and they talked it over, and they said we're going to punt it away, and we'll see if the Trojans can come up with a bigger drive than 6 yards this time.
Trojans had nobody back for that kick that time, so they were going for the block, did not get the penetration, and consequently there was no return.
Ball will be out at the 29-yard line. That's where the Trojans will start now.
We're going to have a difficult time here calling some of these plays. There are no numbers on the sidelines for the yard marker, so if we make a mistake here and there, please bear with us.
I'm over here trying to figure out what yard they're at. I'm just going to listen to the announcer and take his word for it.
Hit somebody, dude!
1st and 10, Clawson.
1st and 10, ball just shy of the 30-yard line. Clawson's own. They give it to the second. They fake it, and going deep and just overthrown out of reach of Paul Means, who had his defenders beat. Let's take a look.
Here's the bootleg. Here's the fake. This sets up the linebackers. This freezes the linebackers in tight. Hides the ball real well. Nice step back in the pocket. And watch the pass just off his fingertips. It was a well-thrown ball. He actually slowed down. If he would have ran his route, I think he had a chance to catch that one. He slowed down prior to the ball getting there and missed it.
Yeah, that's why timing is so important. Aaron Schmaltz, the quarterback, just missing Paul Means. And now it's 2nd and 10 for the Trojans. They run the wishbone fake, and now the second man through, and that is Fisher. Brian Fisher gains a couple of yards for the Trojans. Actually, pretty good gain, about 4 yards. It'll be 3rd and 6.
Fisher's a workhorse, and you're going to watch 35. Powell make the stop. Nice tackle. 4-yard, 5-yard gain that sets up 3rd down. Big play right here.
You're looking over the shoulder of head coach Tony Messina.
Coach's eye view.
For the Yellow Jackets. Trying to stop the Trojans right here on a 3rd and long. Schmaltz out to Fisher. Fisher is hitting the backfield for a loss and getting there quickly for Avondale, number 46. Andy Slavinsky.
That hitch pass only works if you only have the corner to defend. You're going to watch the linebacker come up here and fill real quickly. Here's the hitch pass right out in the corner. Fisher, he takes the ball, and watch this. There's the tackle. He actually was blocked into him, but look at number 50 there also. That's, I'm not going to try to pronounce this one. But he came up and filled real quickly and made his tackle. Try that again, please.
Agboka.
What's his first name?
Agboka.
Okay.
Taking it at the 31. Here's Hutchins. Hutchins trying to break it outside, but nothing there as it's strung out by the Trojans out at the 40-yard line.
A little sideways running, a little east and west. If he had took the ball right upfield, he might have had a chance to break it. There was a nice seam in there, but he took the ball outside and kind of backed in. You see right here as he takes the ball. If he would have went right up at that point, he had a seam. As he goes east and west, he gives the defense a chance to catch up to him, and that's what they do. He kind of backs into that tackle right there. Doesn't want to get hurt. Of course, Hutchins is not a real big guy. He's 5'11", 160, and he doesn't want to get himself hurt.
And he's the quarterback, too, so they need him. Going up top is Allen, Deshaun Allen. Hutchins, the handoff, straight dive, and a big gain that time for Bowlby. Bowlby with a gain of about 6 yards. And it'll be 2nd down and 4.
This is a good offensive line surge. Take a look right here. Straight up blocking. Guard pulls a little bit. 52 on the tackle right there, Scanlon. Gets him for a nice gain, though, at 6 yards. So that sets up 2nd and 4. Gives the offense the opportunity to run several different types of plays. Keeps the defense on their heels.
2nd and 4 coming up. 3:13 and counting down here in the first quarter. The Trojans lead 7-0 on a big mistake by the Yellow Jackets deep in their own territory. In motion is Allen, Joey Allen. Handoff to Bowlby again. This time he stopped for maybe about a yard. And it'll be 3rd and short coming up.
By running the double tight end set, which is what they're doing, that brings the defense in a little closer to the line. That means they have to block somebody. That time the defense was able to penetrate enough to get to him before he was able to get to the hole.
There you see Dick Moore on the far side, wearing the white hat. Looking on, trying to get his defense to stop the Yellow Jackets right here as they near midfield. Hutchins to the tailback. Allen trying to beat him around the outside and can't do it as the Trojans string him out. Fisher out there along with number 33, Dave Aller.
There's a flag on the play, Dave. That's typically a holding call, and they'll probably decline that and force him to punt. Clipping.
It's a clipping call, and it'll be interesting to see what the Trojans do. Either give him a 4th down or knock him back. Let's see.
This play really never worked from the beginning. You can see he's going to go right out. He's going to have to cut the ball back. There's good penetration. That's what forced the play outside. As he goes out, he's a little controlled, which means it gives defense, again, enough time to come up and make the tackle.
Unusual to see a clipping call on a run like that.
When it gets outside, that'll happen a lot of time. You'll get a defender in front of you, and you kind of dive at his legs, and that's if you block below the waist, they'll call that a clip or an illegal block.
You see Hutchins talking to head coach Tony Messina, and knocks him back. They take the loss and the down, and it'll be 4th. And punting down. Yellow Jackets get this one off. Receiving it is Parche. Parche cuts it outside to the right. He's got some room around the outside and then cuts it back. And down at about midfield. So great field position now for the Trojans.
That ball was almost blocked in the backfield, by the way. Parche's an interesting story. He filled in last week for Fisher and gained 140 yards last week, so he's got some talent. He's only a junior. He takes this ball outside quickly, and that's the key to any return, is making a move, making it fast. He gets outside and makes an excellent return, you can see right here.
I think it's those dark socks all the way up. They kind of deceive you, think he's a slow runner.
Reminds me of Anthony Carter from Michigan back then.
Makes you think he's a slow runner. 1st and 10 ball, just shy of midfield at the 49-yard line of the Trojans. Fake to the first man through and given to the second man, and that is, of course, number 21, Brian Fisher.
Fisher's had some decent gains here so far. It hasn't broken one, but the 3-4 yards set up good field position and good opportunities for this Clawson team. They're usually running him as a second back through, so they're getting some additional blocking for him. That particularly helps blocking a linebacker who's trying to fill a gap.
Gain of about 5 and a first down carry of 5 yards. Pretty good for Brian, and sets up the Trojans on a 2nd and 5 and gives them some room now to possibly go to the air. Schmaltz just barely overthrew Paul Means on the previous series. Fumble down on the field, and the Yellow Jackets have it. A big turnover now. And now maybe the Yellow Jackets can capitalize as they get it at about the 46-yard line.
Looks like Jamie Robinson came up with that ball, number 76. Let's take a look right here. Here's the snap. He pulls out before he's got the ball. Quarterback's fault. He's got to make sure he's got the ball. And as they dive for the ball, you can see right on the bottom of the pile. You can barely see him, but big number 76, Jamie Robinson, 6'4", 225.
So 2 turnovers, 1 apiece. And now the Yellow Jackets have it with 52 seconds left in the first quarter. 7-0, the Trojans lead. Yellow Jackets come back. Hutchins will pitch out, and almost another fumble, and it is another fumble, but getting it back is Hutchins. Hutchins indecisive, and I think that cost him.
That was a bad move pitching that ball back because his man was cornered in, and he should have saw that. He should have taken the ball and just dove forward. Ill-advised pitch that time, because I'll tell you what, that could have caused real problems. They're going against the wind. They should hold on to the ball right here and try to be as conservative as they can until they get the ball going with the wind. That would really help them.
The pitch that time went out to Agboka, number 50, who was in the backfield, not wearing a back number, but he is in the backfield. And the time running out here, and they won't get the play off. That'll end the first quarter of play, and it'll be a 2nd and 9 coming up for the Yellow Jackets to start the second quarter.
As I mentioned, Dave, they really didn't want to get that play off. Now it opens up with 2nd and 9. If they've got to go to the air, it really helps having the wind at the back, particularly when you're running, going down the field there. So that's really a smart play to let that time run out.
Don't forget to tune in to Oakland Press Perspective with Oakland Press editor Neil Monroe, and he'll keep you on top of what's going on in Oakland County, in and around Oakland County. This program is seen every Friday at 8:30 right here on TCI 63.
Now we're mentioning number 50, Agboka, in the backfield. He's carried the ball 29 times already this year for a 6-yard average, 176 yards. So he's carried the ball quite a bit. He's got 3 touchdowns. So they have to report that number to the referees prior to him carrying the ball or getting in the backfield, because he is not wearing a back number. That is a rule.
Yeah, sometimes teams will keep an extra jersey on hand to throw one on. Just not actually a real game jersey.
I'm going to try his first name. Is Afori? Afori Agboka.
Afori Agboka.
Okay. I didn't want to try it the first time.
I'd give you an A on that. Without buying a vowel. Okay. I'll give you an A on it. Here we go. Start the second quarter, and Agboka is hit right at the line of scrimmage, and getting in there quickly is Rob Schutz.
They've been faking to the fullback all day today, and this is the first shot that he's been get the ball.
Yep.
And as he goes through, 65 makes a great tackle. That's what you're taught. Take the ball, hit the belt buckle, drive, and hold on to the legs. Wait for somebody to come by. Scanlon finished the tackle for him.
And Rob Schutz, number 65, got in there quickly to stop him right at the line of scrimmage. 3rd and long now, and the Yellow Jackets will have to go to the air. Let's see if they do. Hutchins goes to the air and complete. A quick opener, and it works. Jason Hansen, number 40, on the biggest play of the game right now for the Yellow Jackets, springs them deep into Trojan territory, Bob.
I'll tell you what, there's a quick 2-step drop back. Take a look at the slant pattern right here. Here's the fake, 2 steps back right there, and he hits him between a host of defenders. That was an excellent pass right on the hip in stride. By hitting him in stride, he gets another 15 yards.
1st and 10, the ball on the 28-yard line. And this is the deepest the Yellow Jackets have gotten. And we'll see if that wind plays a big favor to the team going in that direction. With the wind at their back, Yellow Jackets have the passing end going and offsides on Jason Hansen. So Hansen,
you get a little pumped up after that reception.
Yeah, trying to get a little eager. And jumps off sides and lock him back. So it'll be 1st and 15.
That's a shame. That's a real tough area to get 15 yards in, too. The defense can kind of key on certain people. Watch number 40 down in the left-hand part of your screen. He's just going to jump. Let's see what he's going to do here. Oop, there he goes. He says, whoops, I forgot that he got to snap the ball first. What's that?
Whoop, there it is.
Oop, there it goes. No,
something like that.
I'm not going to sing it. Let people leave.
I thought you're a big rap fan. So
no, none of that.
I thought you knew that one. Joey Allen in motion. Back to pass. Hutchinson goes deep to Joey Allen, and in the direction out there of Aaron Schmaltz. Schmaltz tried to become the receiver that time, but he overthrew everybody.
Well, I'll tell you what, you say in the direction, that's about the size of it. There was nobody open. He threw that ball away. With the wind at his back, you can do that. As he goes back, see if we can see the offensive line. See what kind of protection they give him right here. He does get enough time. There's really no fake. He's got plenty of time to throw the ball, but he just throws it away. He does not look at a second receiver. That might be the key to a young quarterback. You need to look off that man if he's not open and go to a secondary receiver. He did not do that and threw the ball away.
He had plenty of time to throw, and Gary Nix, number 74 on the offensive line, gave him all that time. The handoff again going to Agboka.
Number 50, Agboka on the carry.
And that gets him close to the original line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd and long again. And the Yellow Jackets again have to go to the air. Let's see if they do. They were successful on the pass to Hansen. Let's see if they come back with another pattern like that.
It's mismatch.
The kids are digging on the Yellow Jacket there,
yes.
Dave.
That's very good. Sarah, that's very great.
You quoted our director.
Because that's the right sane thing to say.
I often quote him too. So.
Well, hey, that's why he's there.
Kind of like broadcast news. We need him to give us the words, right? All right.
We're just the pretty faces behind the microphone, yeah. Right?
Flags fly.
Yeah. The problem with that is we're not behind the screen very often.
Flag down on the field on the 3rd down, and it'll knock them back even further. Illegal procedure on the Yellow Jack.
Watch the left guard right here. He'll jump just before the snap. There he goes.
There
just that twitch.
Yeah.
And that's all that needs to be done. Once you're in that 3-point stance, you cannot move.
Van Wormer, Reed Van Wormer, number 55, just a slight move and knocks him back. 3rd and about 16 here.
About the only thing you can do when you're in that 3-point stance is blink.
And the umbrella's put away now, but the wind continues to blow. Fans a little cool up there. Fake to the first man through. Hansen has plenty of time, or rather Hutchins has plenty of time to throw. Goes deep to Hansen in the end zone. Touchdown! Hansen in the end zone, just waiting for that ball to come down. It was almost like a punt.
I'll tell you what, we had 3rd and 17. You never thought they would have a chance at that. And Hutchins went back, had plenty of time again. That's the key to the play, is he had time. Take a look right here. His offensive line gives him enough time to throw the ball. There's a fake. That might have froze a couple linebackers. He takes 3 or 4 steps back, picks up another blocker, and in the backfield, you can see right there, he had plenty of blocking. He throws the ball up. The defenders lose sight of the ball. You can see right there, they never looked at the ball. And that was the key to the play. Jason Hansen had sight of the ball all the way. His face looking at it, defenders back at it. This kick is blocked.
And that hurts because it's 7-6 now. And the Yellow Jackets trail by 1. Hutchins to Hansen for 35 yards.
He's kind of sneaked back there.
Yeah. There were 2 defenders.
But neither of them, they were running after Hansen. They had their backs to the ball, and that was the key.
So with 9:03 left here in the first half. The Yellow Jackets come close to tying it, but the extra point eludes them, and it's 7-6, down by 1 to the Trojans.
That's great momentum, though, nonetheless, even though they missed the kick. That puts them in position saying, hey, we can play with this team. They are 1-3. Trojans are 4-0, but that means nothing right down there in the field. They aren't even thinking about the records in this game. They're just thinking that these guys can be beat.
We'll see if that extra point is as big as it seems. And if Avondale comes close to scoring again, see if they go for the 2-point conversion next time. To kick off for Avondale, Van Wormer, number 55, back deep is Fisher and Parche. Parche looks like he's going to take this one. No, it goes out at the 5. It's good. No, he picks it up at the 5, and he's in deep trouble.
Oh, man. What a break. I'll tell you what, the Yellow Jackets got one of the better breaks of the game right there. That ball stood right on the line, and Parche had to pick the ball up. By that time, he was hemmed in. He had nowhere to go. Unbelievable. Watch this kick. Now that ball hits, and Parche's running over the ball. He thinks he might have a chance to field it.
And it looks like it's going to go out of bounds right here.
Exactly. Now watch the ball. Watch it stay right there. Now watch Parche's feet. He's got to get back in bounds. Come on. Let's get back in bounds. His foot might have been out there. They might have gave him a break. But nonetheless, he's still hemmed in, and he goes down deep in the territory. It looks like they're going to place the ball about the 4-yard line. No, about 3.
Yep, 3-yard line,
Wow.
and that's where the Trojans will start.
I'll tell you what, a forced turnover right here, this game is turned around.
7-6. Clawson leads by 1. They are deep in their own territory at the 3. 1st and 10. In motion, number 42 for Clawson, and we got a whistle down there.
I think we have a legal procedure that time. Looks like he moved toward the ball before it was snapped. We'll see. You can go in motion as long as you go vertically. Or is that horizontally? I get those two mixed up. You can't go toward the ball. We'll say that.
You can't go towards the ball.
It's a legal procedure.
And that's something the referees were told to watch, too.
Well, I wasn't going to mention that. They did, Tony Messina did mention prior to the game that he was watching the films, and we weren't supposed to say that, Dave, but that's okay.
No, I wasn't going to say who said it. I was just going to say that was they were told to watch. Okay, you told them. Here we go again, in motion. And the off-tackle play gets a few yards for the Trojans. On the tackle, number 74, Gary Nix for Avondale. Let's take a look.
They're just trying to get the ball out of the dead area down there, trying to get some field position back. They brought an end back in for extra blocking to try to run over tackle. Nice tackle right there. They're going for the ball. So they're trying to go for the turnover. Turnover down that deep would make a big difference. It did make a big difference for the Trojans when they got their touchdown in a 5-yard drive. There's Dick Moore looking over the situation. He knows he's got to get out of this area. Remember, if he does have to kick, he'll have to kick against the wind.
We haven't seen John Jansen, the captain, number 30. We haven't called his number much. This time, overthrown, intended out there for number 25, Dave Whitelam.
Looks like they have some decent-sized targets. Whitelam is 6'1", 160 pounds. There's Hutchins looking from the sideline. He says, hey, we want the ball back. Come on, we scored a touchdown. Let's try this again. Looks like the receiver was open this time, 2-step drop back, and it was just overthrown. It's tough trying to gauge throwing against the wind that time when you had the wind at your back for the first quarter. So you've got to really change things around, throwing against the wind, and potentially change your delivery depending on how you throw it.
3rd and 9 for the Trojans. In motion is Fisher. Fake and complete to Whitelam. He has the first down and a big break for the Trojans as they get out of deep in their own territory. And Dave Whitelam on the reception. The senior comes through.
Means makes a nice tackle after the catch, but take a look at the 2-step drop back. Key to this play is he does not want to get caught for a safety. On the slant panner, gets the ball off quickly to Whitelam.
He almost got it blocked.
He almost got it blocked, and that's the disadvantage of throwing that 2-step drop back. But you want to make sure you don't want to take a safety also. That is a huge first down.
Ball at the 20 now, and a lot more room to breathe out there.
Tell you what, Dave, this is one of the better games we've done this year. Being this close and 2 evenly matched teams, it's pretty exciting.
We haven't called number 30, John Jansen, yet of Clawson, who is probably one of the best tight ends in the country as he's been scouted. And a timeout called by the Trojans after they pick up the first down with 7:05 left here in the second quarter.
Just to give you a little stats on John Jansen, we're talking about him now. He's a first-team All-State player last year, preseason Scholastic, Coaches Magazine All-American, probably one of the strengths of the team. Made 28 catches last year, so he's one of their big targets. They have not thrown to him yet today.
Look for his number later on to be a big key to this game.
Probably using him as somewhat of a decoy.
Transition is a program designed to give perspective pertaining to African-American issues. Host Jeffrey Miller has conducted interviews with Louis Farrakhan, John Conyers, and, of course, the mayor, Coleman Young. Watch Transition Saturday night at 10 on Channel 63.
Do that again. I like that laugh.
I'm the mayor, but not for long.
I saw him with a beard on TV the other day. It was pretty exciting, I'll tell you.
First, and I thought it was pretty good.
I thought it was reasonable. I'll give you that.
Compared to other things that Pat Collar has told me to say, I thought that was pretty good. The pitch goes back to Fisher. Fisher with a good gain him about 6 yards and a flag down, and it looks like it could be holding.
Number
in the area
46, Andy Slabinski held the man we were talking about earlier, John Jansen, in the backfield. And let's see if we can see this one on your lower left-hand part of the screen. You'll probably see it after the pitch to Fisher. There's the call. Fisher again is the second team. He was the first team All-League player last year. Here's the pitch, and Hansen's out there blocking. He didn't see the hold. There it is right there. Barely saw it on the back end of your screen. It was a hold, and that negates the play.
So the run by Fisher, they'll bring it back now. And it'll be 1st and 20. What is it now? Where are we at? Trying to see where we're at. 1st and about 19.
What I've done, Dave, is I've looked at the goal line and kind of added since then. It makes it a little easier to do because we don't have a 50-yard mark here.
They do have a couple of them up against the fence on the other side, so that's what I've been using.
Okay. Oh, yeah, way out there.
That helps. See if those corrective lenses help. 1st and 19 for the Trojans, and they buried themselves deep again. In motion, Fisher. They're going to look out that way. They go to Jansen for the first time. Bounces off one tackle and falls forward, and they pick up about 15 of those 19 back right away.
Dave Bowlby on the tackle that time. He held on for dear life. Jansen's 245 pounds, I'll tell you what, and Bowlby's 5'7", 155. Let's take a look right here. There's the catch. Watch the stick. He just holds on right there on the feet. Says, you're not going anywhere. I'm going to hold on to your foot. Your shoe's going to come off before you get anywhere. Nice tackle.
Yeah, gain of about 14, 13 on it. It'll be 2nd down and 6 coming up now.
I'll tell you what, that's got to be halfback or cornerback's worst enemy right there. That 6'6", 6'8" type guy that runs down the field and just powers you over.
2nd and 6. Trojans, quick pitch out to Fisher. Fisher looks for some blocks, and he's hit in the backfield by number 23, Louis Jurisic.
I'll tell you what, the corner filled like no filling before. This is what they see. When you see these offensive linemen blocking down, the corner can come up and fill that gap. That's what he's got to do. He's got to be able to take that ball and make sure he doesn't get outside. Great tackle in the backfield.
And a loss, or rather getting back to the line of scrimmage. 3rd and 6. Trojans have had a tough time on this drive, Bob, trying to get it out of their end of the field.
It's a difficult play calling. You don't want to make a mistake down there, obviously, but they are going against the wind also, so that has some effect.
3rd and 6, 4:55 left here in the first half. 7-6 the score. Trojans up by 1. In motion, Fisher. Going towards Jansen. Jansen picks up the first down again. Down at about the 36-yard line.
There's a flag
down,
yep.
and it looks like it's going to go against the Yellow Jackets.
Oh, man. Getting a little hot in there, it looks like. Let's take a look at the call here.
There it is. Conduct call on the Yellow Jackets, and this is a big penalty here.
It's a 15-yarder, too. Here's a quick setback on a slant play. The key to that slant play is the receiver gets in front of the linebackers. Linebackers didn't stick them as they went in front of them. You're taught when you play high school football, if somebody comes in front of your face, you got to hit them. You got to knock them down.
Seems like a little talking going on down there for the Yellow Jackets, especially when you get an All-American player like Jansen out there. You want to get him thinking out there on the field so he can make a few mistakes.
Take him out of his game. That's a big thing of it. Of course, he just started playing really here this last drive.
And this time it hurts the Yellow Jackets as the Trojans get into Yellow Jacket territory at the 49. And to Fisher, off tackle. Second man outside. And gain of maybe 1 or 2 on that one for Fisher.
Little misdirection here, and watch this fake handoff come back to Fisher, back the other way. Well-conceived play. The blocking kind of broke down right there at the line of scrimmage. The offensive right guard, number 66, Rob DeRosa, didn't block his man, and because of it, Fisher ran right up his back, and the play was stopped.
2nd down and 9 coming up now for the Trojans. Ball on the 48-yard line of Avondale. 3:40 left here in the first half. And a timeout call. I think that's the last one for Clawson. Aaron Schmaltz calls a timeout. And I believe that's her 3rd.
The 2nd that I can remember.
They called another one down here before. They called the one before they were going into the ends of the first drive.
Right.
They called another one down here on this drive. And this is their 2nd one on this drive.
So then they are out of first downs.
Windy down there. You can see the Yellow Jackets there. The flags, you can see them straight out, and it is coming across the field. You can see how windy it is as the camera person, whoever's down there, trying to keep that steady. Dennis Westerland on camera. Dennis, keep it steady. Doing his best. And you can see it's us in the press box there, but you can see the fans haven't really turned out for this one, although it was billed to be a great contest, and it is so far. 7-6.
This is a big play right here, 2nd down and 9. They need to at least set themselves up for 3rd and short. So maybe we'll have that quick hitter again.
That's what I asked you.
3:37. Clock stopped, and it'll start on the snap here. In motion, Fisher. That's a pass. Jansen again. He drops this one. He was surrounded by Yellow Jackets immediately.
Well, this is what I thought. They'd have that quick pass just to try to set themselves up. If they didn't get the 1st down, to set up 3rd and short. Jansen had the ball in his hands and dropped it. Trying to run with it before he had it. Should have been a completion, Dave.
So 3rd down and 9 now. The clock stops at 3:31 left here in the 2nd quarter. 2 men in the backfield and 2 men split up top for the Trojans. Schmaltz, the quarterback, sends Fisher in motion. To pass again, and intended out there for Dave Whitelam, the senior.
Threw the ball down a little bit. They're trying to fit the ball in between the linebackers. And I'll tell you what, they continue to do that. They're going to get some people jumping on that defensive line to try to knock the ball down. Here's a 2-step drop back right there. Fakes it a little bit. But the ball is thrown well, that ball should have been caught. That ball was definitely a catchable ball. Looked like it was low initially, but it wasn't.
Here are the other network here covering the contest. And a good roll here for the Trojans. Won't go too far. So the Trojans eat up a lot of the clock, but don't really get anywhere and pin the Yellow Jackets back into their own territory. And they will start there with 3:17 left here in the 2nd quarter. And it is windy here, and up there you don't get too much protection from anything. The brave folks up there, and our folks are a little bit more, well, they have to be cautious because our
they've got a wind blocker at least with a big press box behind them.
Those cameras cost a lot of money, and
we use that real good plastic to protect them.
That's right.
There you go.
Cushion the fall just in case they do fall to the wind. Timeout down on the field for the Yellow Jackets.
Well, you knew it was them, because we've already ascertained that the Trojans don't have any timeouts.
That's right.
Now, if they did call a timeout or try to, that'd be a penalty, 5 yards.
3:04 left here in the 2nd quarter. Yellow Jackets in this 7-6, and heading out there is Tony Messina to talk things over. This is a big drive for them. If they can get some points on the board, they've got the wind at their back, and they want to take advantage of it now on this drive.
Good point, Dave. This is probably one of the bigger drives of the day. If they can put some points on before halftime, 2 things will happen. Number one, they're going to have the momentum coming into the 2nd half. And secondly, it'll take the momentum away from the Trojans, who are 4-0. They're going to at least doubt themselves going into halftime. So it is definitely a huge drive.
3:04, plenty of time now to get this one in the end zone, and they've shown that they can strike quickly, as we've seen Hutchins throw deep into the end zone for 35 yards for the only scoring for the Yellow Jackets to Hansen.
And the key to Hutchins' passing is that he's had plenty of time to throw the ball. You know, he's set a short drop, and then he's gone back and picked up additional blockers with the back. So he's done a good job of reading these receivers.
Ball at about the 23-yard line. 1st and 10. Hutchins to throw. Has a man open in the flat, and Joey Allen misses it.
That was a great pass, too. Caught him dead on the run. Allen should have definitely caught that ball. Had him on the run. If he had caught the ball, he would have had about an 8-yard gain. But take a look right here. Hutchins made some great play. He's got time again. There's the fake, freezing the linebackers, but watch the pass right on his hands. You can see it right here.
Nice
on
touch.
The run.
Yep.
Nice touch. Should have been caught. And he had plenty of room to run.
I think Allen saw some white jerseys heading in his direction, wanted to peek over to see who was going to come after him.
If he did, he had one 8 yards away from him. That was the closest one.
And
so
he lost the ball just by doing that. Dick Moore and his assistants looking on. .259 left here in the 2nd quarter. Hutchins hands off and a fumble, and it looks like the Trojans may have picked it up.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, they did.
Brian Fisher, the captain.
Fisher.
Yep, he made the recovery. Let's take a look right here. They've got double tight end set, running the ball off tackle. Here's the handoff. Boom, there's the pop. 65 makes the pop. Rob Schutz. I like that name. Shoots in there and knocks the ball away.
He's been hitting hard. He was in there quickly last time defensively, and this time comes up with a big play.
He's had a real strong game defensively for him.
Ball on the 24-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Trojans. Trojans has picked up the ball inside the 10 and now inside the 25 on big turnovers. Going to Fisher, and a good effort there on trying to get to the ball, but Schmaltz was pressured and he found himself on his back after that pass.
You take a look right here. He did have time to throw the ball initially. Take a look as he goes in the backfield. Fisher comes out of the backfield. He's the primary receiver all the way. Just gets the ball off. The ball was thrown, as you can see, it came out of his hand sideways. Maybe that had something to do with the wind. Fisher had to dive for the ball and was just out of his reach.
If you're throwing against the wind, got to keep those passes a little bit lower, and that's why they were successful in throwing to Jansen going against the wind. They had those quick openers and were throwing low. The penalty down on the field, let's take a look.
Looks like it's against the Yellow Jackets.
Roughing the passer, and that is what I said. He was on his back, and if you look at the replay, there was nobody near him when he released.
3 yards was the closest defender, and he ran into him. You're going to see it. Take a look right here. And again, Fisher's going to come out of the backfield right there as he releases the ball. Watch him release the ball right here. There's 3 yards. 3 yards between him and the guy. He jumped up and just continued to go into his face, knocked him down. That's a big penalty, gives him automatic first down.
1st and 10, ball on the 12 or 13-yard line. Fake to the first man through. Schmaltz takes it on a bootleg outside, and a good gain for the Trojans, getting it around to the 5-yard line.
Excellent fake that time. He showed some excellent speed getting around corner. Now watch the fake. The fake right here sets him up, pulls them all inside, puts the ball on his hip, fouls his blockers excellently that time. Ball's on the outside, prevents a fumble, gets the ball down deep around the 5-yard line.
Let's see where they have it. No, ball at about the 7. They mark it shy of the 5. 2nd down and 5 from the 7. They can get a first down inside the 2. Hand off to the first man through. And that is Parche, Jim Parche, the junior. On the tackle was number 61. And that was Diamante on the tackle.
Again, Parche had a strong second half last week when Fisher went down and had 140 yards, came in late in the game and did an excellent job. So he's in there now in crunch time.
7-6 the score with 1:15 left here in the first half. Trojans trying to get on the board again. Fisher in motion. Schmaltz a pass. Oh, it's intercepted. Intercepted by Hutchins, and he could go all the way, but he's caught by Parche.
Number 1 caught number 1 that time.
2 of the fastest guys on the field, and it was just a matter of who's going to catch him. And Parche said, I've got to get this guy because I'm the only one who can.
Both guys wear the same number, the same height, and the same weight. That tells you something. Right here he goes back to pass. It's a dangerous pass going over the middle. They've been doing it all day today. He did not get the ball up high enough, and that's what happens when you throw down the middle of the field. You've got a lot of people in there. Hutchins takes the ball back, and an excellent return. It's caught from behind.
They just took it right out of Whitelam's hands. That was right into the end zone, into heavy traffic. So turnovers have been a big part of this first half. Joey Allen breaks it outside and finally brought down by Whitelam at the 45-yard line, and he gets into about the 44.
You're going to see right here, Hutchins pitches the ball back out with Means all over his back. Watch number 4. He's going to be all over his back right here. There he is. Now he pitches the ball out. What a great pitch.
Underhand
It was
pitch.
an underhand pitch, and that makes the difference right there. And I'll tell you what, there's some real speed on that, on Joey Allen right at the end. And there's the flip right at the end. Nice tackle by 25 Whitelam, but I'll tell you what, that really opened it up.
Ball at the 44 of the Trojans, and Avondale on the move. Going deep, has his man open and intercepted. Intercepted by the Trojans. And Aaron Schmaltz comes right back to pick up an interception and makes up for his mistake down at the other end of the field.
Dave Slabinski had so much time, it was ridiculous. He should have caught that ball without a doubt and wrapped it up. Plenty of time here for Hutchins. Beautiful throw right on the numbers. Now watch it. There's nobody near him. Look at that. There's no player within 5 yards of him. The ball hits him right in the helmet, bounces off, and they get the interception. Boy, this game is turned around. 2 seconds left in the half. That'll be the last play.
And that'll do it. As I said before, that turnover. Turnovers have been a big part of this
Absolutely.
first half.
Two interceptions on successive plays almost.
So that'll end it here in the first half, in a very quick first half here at Avondale, where the Yellow Jackets trail by 1. The Trojans close to getting another 6 on the board, a big interception, then going back, and it's 7-6. Let's take a look at Avondale's touchdown to make it 7-6 as Hutchins throws deep to Jansen.
And keep in mind, Hansen is in the end zone waiting for the ball. He's looking at the ball. The two defenders have their back to the ball. They must have lost sight to him. The key, again, is Hutchins having time to throw the ball. As he throws the ball downfield, Hansen's waiting. Look at him. Right there. He's waiting for the ball. Oh, there it is. Throws the ball over the two defenders. Having the wind at your back has a big difference.
Sometimes those are the toughest to catch because you got time to think about it. Look, I drop this one. Whereas those quick openers, you don't have time. You just grab that real quick. But those are coming down like a punt, and he knows the other guys are coming right after.
There's two of them right in front of him.
So 7-6 the score. We're going to go back and look at the Clawson touchdown for you. They had it inside the 10-yard line at the 6 for their first possession, and a big break for the Trojans as they came up with their first touchdown, and not much of a drive, only 6 yards.
It was all set up again on the punt, on the fumble on the punt. Now here's the first touchdown for them. Well, actually their only touchdown. The fake, Fisher takes the ball off tackle and dives forward into the end zone. Looks like he lost the ball right at the end, but he did break the plane of the goal line for the touchdown.
So those are the two scores that we have. 7-6 the score here. The Trojans on top by 1, and the Yellow Jackets, that missed extra point, looming large right now. Turnovers have been a big part of this first half, and we'll be back with some halftime stats for you right after these messages. Stay with us.
Strong. To win, you've got to be smart. Maybe you can be one of us, the few, the proud, the Marines.
If you wish a video cassette of TCI Sports, the cost is $25. Send a check payable to TCI, along with your name, address, and the names of the teams that played in the game, to TCI Sports Videotapes, 4500 Delamere Boulevard, Royal Oak, Michigan, 48073. Remember to tell us which game you wish to receive. And thank you for watching TCI Sports.
TCI Sports Game of the Week. Dave Zorn along with Bob Griglak back here at Avondale High School, where the Yellow Jackets trail the Trojans by 1, 7-6. Let's take a look at the halftime stats for you quickly before the kickoff. And the yards rushing pretty much even, 23-35. Passing 23-65, and that's where Avondale has them. And total yards, 46 for Clawson, 100 for Avondale. I think Avondale has the edge there because they've had to go longer on the field, really, to try to get in the end zone.
Well, the one drive by Clawson was only a 6-yard drive, and that made something different. The turnovers, again, a couple fumbles, a couple interceptions, and time of possession is pretty much even. That's why it's an almost even game, as you can see.
And that's been the key, the turnovers. And we are underway here in the second half. Ball bouncing past Parche. He'll pick it up inside the 5-yard line, having trouble, and breaks free.
He's gone. Oh, one more tackle to beat, and he was gone.
And finally spun around the other way, but For a second, you thought he was going to be inside the 5. For a second, you thought he was going to break it.
Well, what happened was
brought down.
the pursuit, after he did pick up the ball, the pursuit got so deep, if he got by that first line or that first wave, he was gone. Right here, if he got by that last man, he was gone. Right there, that clothesline almost right at the end. He kind of fell backwards, number 80 with the tackle that time. That was Dan Paquette.
First and 10 now for the Trojans to start this second half. In motion. Trojans send the man and a dive, and it picks up pretty good yardage for the first down carry. Let's see.
21, Fisher on the carry.
Fisher on the carry, and he gets a pretty good amount of yardage.
He got good yardage because of the offensive line surge that time. He went right over the left guard, left tackle area, which is their strength. And the line surge itself got him 4 yards, and he just dove forward for the extra yard.
Second down and 5 coming up now for the Trojans.
5 yards, second down and 5 from the Clawson 19-yard line.
In motion again, the Trojans send their man, and here comes Fisher with another big carry and picks up the first down for the Trojans.
Key to that play was the split end coming back and making a nice block in the backfield, coming back through and blocking the linebacker, springing him for the first down.
Trojans on the move now. There we see the sidelines. 10:40 left here in the third quarter. Dave Zorin and Bob Griglak with you. Dick Moore on the sidelines for the Trojans in his 13th year. Rather, he's been here 13 years. Is this his 13th or 14th?
13th year.
13th year. Two receivers split to the bottom in motion. Number 33, Dave Aller. Flag flies as Brian Fisher takes it, but it looks like they might be bringing this one back.
Again, it was the motion man turning upfield prior to the snap of the ball. That's just, you can't do that. And let's see if that's what they call. That's the second time they've been flagged for that same thing.
And there it is.
Illegal
it's
motion.
Declined, but they do take the other penalty.
Which is an illegal block below the waist. That's a little more yardage. Let's see if we can pick that up. We see the motion man. He turns up. Okay, that's an easy one. Let's see if we can find the illegal block. Right there, 32 on 74. 33 on 74.
Dave Aller.
Right.
Really cold out tonight. Oh, we got the parkas out. That's how cold it is.
They're really enjoying themselves, I can
First
tell.
day of October,
Oh, yeah.
and we've got our December clothes on here, and that's because of the wind primarily.
Well, it was actually 60-some degrees earlier today, so it hasn't been that cold. Just the wind factor, as you mentioned, brings it way down. That's a big penalty. Drives them back 15 yards. It sets up
first and 25.
Hey, thanks, Dave. I'm not a mathematician.
I was looking right up at the... I wouldn't have had it, but I looked right up there.
That little one's having some fun. There you go. They're enjoying themselves.
First and 25 now for Clawson. Schmaltz sends Whitelam in motion, and nothing on the carry as the Trojans try to sneak a ground attack in there as Fisher is brought down quickly.
This is turning into one defensive battle. The Trojans have had 2 good defensive games prior to this. They've had 2 shutouts in a row, so they're continuing in that fashion as well as the Yellow Jackets. Here's the replay here. There's the handoff on the second man, Fisher, after the fake handoff up the middle. Fisher gets a little hog collared there. No offense to our director, Pat Collar.
And it looked like a face mask at the end there. Coming in there, number 35 for the Yellow Jackets. Not listed on our program, so we can't call him.
Okay. Off tackle play, yeah. They're just trying to get the ball out of their shadow of the end zone, trying to give their punter a little bit more room. Keep in mind, again, they will be putting against the wind. We want to keep mentioning that fact because it is a strong 25-mile-an-hour wind today, and that'll affect just about anything going in that direction.
Third and about 21 now with 8:40 left here in the third quarter. The wind's still blowing all game long, and it's blowing from right to left on your screen. Trojans coming up again. Schmaltz, drop back, looks to Jensen, has him complete, short of the first down by about 5, but he's not down yet.
That was an amazing pass and catch that time. Take a look right. Yeah, here's the play. He goes back to pass. He has a little bit of time. Gets the ball off. Look how he throws the ball over to the defenders, but look how high he goes up for that ball. Jansen almost drops it on the comeback. Hutchins again with the tackle. He holds on for dear life. 21's off.
Guys to get him down.
John Kelka was in there, but Hutchins was the main tackler. Sets up 4th down and punting against the wind.
4th and 3, and the Trojans punt. Not a bad one, and it won't be returned either.
Good penetration that time from the right side. Looks like he purposely kicked the ball roundhouse around to his left and got it off without getting a block.
Ball at the 36-yard line. That's where the Yellow Jackets start, and they get the wind at their back. They really have to take advantage of this in this quarter, because in the 4th quarter, the Trojans are going to come back with the win. So
it's a very good point.
They've really got to take advantage of this in this quarter, and Dick Moore knows about that.
Momentum is a key factor here, too, because at the end of the half, they'd picked up some momentum before the interception that bounced off of Andy Slabinski.
Handoff, first man through, off tackle, and a flag flies there.
Yeah, see Jansen standing up and his man on the ground. That could be a little extracurricular activity. We'll take a look right here. Looks like a holding call, no, against the Yellow Jackets. That'll send them back another 10.
Bob, I'd like to mention that Wayne Wilson here in the press box, and I'd like to thank Wayne for the nice article that he wrote about us in the paper.
It was awful nice of him. Did spell my name right. That's half the battle, I guess.
That's right. Wayne standing up right in the middle of the screen there.
He's the tall guy.
Yeah, tall guy with the glasses. Right behind the gentleman there. Yeah, right there. Right there. Wayne Wilson. Thanks, Wayne, for the nice article. And get him on camera. And it'll bring up now a 1st and 20. So both teams not starting off well. A lot of penalties. 1st and 25 it was for the Trojans. Now 1st and 20 for the Yellow Jackets.
But they have the wind at their back, so that'll help them pass it.
Man in motion. Hutchins looking downfield, intended for Joey Allen, but just overthrew it.
That's a tough pass to throw back coming across your body. And you're going to see this time Hutchins outran his blockers and outran the defense coming at him. And again, it's a tough pass. You can take a look right here. He's going to throw against his body. His momentum's going to take that ball and carry it just over the head. He had to stop for a second and just got a little bit too much on it.
Nice soft touch, but just a little too much. And it'll be 2nd and 20 now with 7:08 left here in the 3rd quarter. And the Yellow Jackets trail by 1, 7-6. Here you see the little one's bundled up.
She's having a blast.
In motion. Jashawn Allen. And ball is loose on the carry. Let's see what happens here. 1st down Trojans as they pick up another turnover. And I just didn't even see what happened down there, Bob.
That was a bad break that time, too, because they're so deep in the territory. Maybe we can see on the replay what exactly happened. It looks like there was quite a few players in there, and he didn't hold on to the ball. We'll see. It looks like the handoff was good. So let's watch Hutchins this time. Hutchins will hand the ball off. We'll see if that's a good handoff. Their fumble is just a little bit coming out.
Had it on his knee and probably ripped out when it's in there.
You can't see in that massive humanity there, but nonetheless.
They broke out the carry, and he lost it. Trojans and another penalty. Yeah, get a little sloppy in there, and we've seen it on both of the first possessions, first downs of both teams. They'll pick up a big penalty on 1st down and drop themselves into a hole. Let's see if this is going against Clawson, and it is.
It's motion again. They've called that 3 times here today, so that's they've got to work on that in practice. Little psychological play prior to the game by Tony Messina. Seems to be working.
And it'll bring up a 1st down and 15 now for the Trojans. Ball at the 35-yard line, just shy of the 35. And about the 34.
Good field position here, Dave. If they put this one in for a score, it'll take a lot of the pressure off of them, particularly since they get the ball with the wind coming back in the fourth quarter.
Seen a lot of turnovers in this game, and now a lot of penalties. Starting to
It's
chalk up
unusual
a lot of
for the
yards.
5th game of the season.
Yeah.
By now, they should have things pretty much down pat.
1st and 10. Or 1st and 15, excuse me. Thank you, our statistician, Kelvin Calhoun, correcting me. Inside on the pass, the slant into Jansen, and he picks up the first down. Good job by Schmaltz to check off on that, and looks back as Jansen cuts across here, Bob.
Being such a big target like this, the two-step drop back, he's got a lot of, there's a fake, and he comes back to him. He's such a big target, he has to do is throw it up. Number of people tackle him, looks like 35. Aller, number 1, Hutchins, quite a few people there making the tackle. But being that big target, you throw the ball up, usually he's going to catch it.
1st and 10 now, this time. Trojans on the move. In motion, Fisher. Hand off to the first man through, and a good fake by Schmaltz. He's been doing a great job of faking.
The key to that play again was the motion, going away from the motion, going up the middle, and the fake after the play. There's some people having some
Screaming
fun.
fans on the sideline.
They're using those blue suckers. Look at our mouths, they're all blue. Now,
You wanted to buy one of those, too, before the game.
I might still get one after the game. 3 for $1, that's not a bad deal.
Our graphics person, Judy McCoo, she bought a whole bunch of good deal down there. So I'm sure Judy's mouth.
I feel like Kate Jackson, you know, not a bad deal.
2nd and 8. Coming up now for the Trojans.
Watch that slant play again. Look for Jansen over the middle.
Handoff to Fisher. Fisher off tackle on the counter. And a big carry for number 21. It'll bring up a 3rd and short now. Let's take a look at Fisher's run.
Bowlby on the tackle this time. Linebacker coming up to make the stop. There's the nice fake. Fisher going up the middle off left guard right at the last second. Bowlby with the tackle on the ankles. Sets up 3rd and short. That was a good call, actually. Going up the middle like that, the fake froze the linebackers long enough to where he was able to get deep inside that area.
Tony Messina a little concerned now as his team needs to hold him here. A 3rd and a short 3. And falling forward is Fisher. I don't know if he gained maybe a yard on that one.
Well, he's definitely short of the first down, but they are in four down territory. I don't think they want to kick against the wind, although a field goal here will force them to get a touchdown to take the lead. Here's the off tackle play, straight hand off to Fisher, following his lead blocker. Good tackling up in there by the Yellow Jackets.
Gain of a yard. It's 4th and 2 now for the Trojans, and a big possession for them. They lead by 1, and a timeout for the Trojans. They used up all 3 of their timeouts in the first half, and they have been using them throughout the game. Whenever they have any kind of confusion or get close to the end zone, they call their timeout and just get their signals a little bit clearer.
There's nothing wrong with that as long as you use them wisely.
And don't forget to tune in to Roadshow video program as Bubba and Pat take you to Almont, Michigan to experience the game of paintball. And that's coming up next right here on TCI 63, right after the ball game. So tune in for that. Are you sticking around for that?
Oh, yeah, wouldn't miss it.
Yeah. I haven't had a chance to see it, so.
I heard Almont is quite the tourist attraction
nowadays. It's starting to be because of this. This show has put Almont
They're
on the
putting
map.
up hotels and that type of thing.
They're the sideline for the Yellow Jackets.
Avondale's #1.
And right now, Avondale is down by 1, and I think that's what he should have said. And we've got to come back and put a drive together as the Trojans picked up the ball on a number of occasions deep in Avondale territory.
Well, this is probably the biggest play of the game. If Clawson can get this first down, pound it out, and go into the end zone, it will definitely give them the momentum. We're looking at 3 minutes, 29 seconds left here in the 3rd quarter. There's plenty of time left, but this is a huge play.
3:29 left in the 3rd quarter, 4th and 2. Fumble, And it looks like the Yellow Jackets come up with it.
It doesn't matter who comes up with it, because the ball is turned over. Great penetration in there that time by number 76, Jamie Robinson, 6'4", 225. Watch right here as he gets the ball down.
He doesn't even get the ball, I don't think.
Let's take a look at the snap. He has the snap. There's the fake. The fake bounced off of his shin. And that's what happened. Robinson with the fumble recovery.
He dropped it before he even got it to the running back.
That could be true.
Went straight to the ground as he was bringing it back.
It hit his shin and just bounced straight down. Big play, big break for the Yellow Jackets.
And a big stop for the Yellow Jackets as the Trojans could smell 6 points, but they just couldn't get into the end zone to taste it. Going deep, and he's got him, and intended for Hansen and hit hard by Whitelam down there.
That ball was just a shade low. Hansen should have came up with it, but again, he's got time to throw in the pocket. It's a straight post route this time by Hansen. He goes back, takes a nice drop, and watch the route. Right in his hands, just a little bit low, but it should have been caught.
He hit him on that earlier from the other side in the first half, and that was a very similar play to that quick opener. And it gains you enough for a first down, but this time they can't pick it up. It's 2nd and 10 now. Just under 3 minutes left here in the third quarter. Hutchins takes it along the line, pitches out to Allen, and Allen runs out of room. Ball is loose. Let's see what happens.
Clock keeps running. He stayed inbounds. So he pulled him down by a shirt tail that time.
A big scramble for the ball down there. It looked like it was loose. Let's see if we can see what happens out there.
Here goes Hutchins. He's on a pitch the ball. Decent pitch. Almost lost it.
And they did lose it.
Yep.
And there you see it.
There it is.
And a Yellow Jacket does come up with it right before it goes out of bounds.
The pitch looked decent. He just kind of looked away before the ball was in his hands. He got a big break that time.
Yeah, they lost about a yard on it. Pitch to Allen. He almost lost that one. He's cutting upfield and finally brought down after a gain of a couple of yards that time. But a little problem on getting those pitches out there.
That was a real bad pitch by Hutchins. Allen made a great play, stopped in his tracks, reached back for the ball, and still made a positive gain out of it. Not much, but it was enough not to cause the fumble. You see right there, he made a nice play coming back for it, but it does set up 4th down. By the time he gets the ball, turns the ball upfield, there's a host of tacklers.
And that play would not have been possible. Tim Grant was the one who made the recovery. Now, the Yellow Jackets punted away. They had the win. It was a low punt and a big break as Parche is trying to return it and turn the corner outside. He's got one man to beat on the outside, and forcing him out of bounds was number 80, Dan Paquette.
He had to get that ball off quick, Dave. I'll tell you what, that ball was almost blocked. That's why he had a low, quick punt. He was lucky that it did get over the line of scrimmage and got some decent distance on it, but because it was such a low-line drive, Parche was able to turn the ball up. Now watch the kick here. He hits a lot of pressure. He gets the ball, and you don't see it right until the last second here. There's the pressure right there. That ball was almost blocked. Take a look right through that man. 33 was in there quickly for Clawson. That was Dave Aller.
And Aller put his arms out a little bit. You think he might have just tapped it a little bit. Nonetheless, he did get the punt off, and I think they did want to get a return from Parche anyway. Handoff to Fisher, off tackle, and gain of about 4 yards on that one.
That's exactly what this Trojan team has to do right now. They've got to pound the ball, quit the mistakes, no penalties, get 4 or 5 yards on first down. And watch this is straight football. 42 in motion, extra blocker right there. That's what they're taking advantage of. Trying to have him block down the defensive end. Fisher just follows him, follows his blocking, and gets 5 yards. He waited for the seam that time, which is a sign of a good running back.
Gain of 4 actually on the play. It'll be 2nd and 6 coming up now as we take a look at head coach Tony Messina. Smaltz calls the signals. In motion, Whitelam. And a bootleg outside. And close to a first down, Bob.
Yeah, it was close to a first down, also close to a face mask play right at the last second. There's an excellent fake here. You can look right up in the middle. Fisher he follows it right through. Looks like he's got the ball. He's faking him out very well. Schmaltz keeps the ball, goes around corner. Watch if there's close to a face mask. Right there, reached in, didn't, just got him on top of the head.
And right now, they have it marked just shy of a first down. What are they going to do here?
They're going to bring it out and take a mark.
Yeah, Jansen's down there to take a look. 28 seconds left here in the third quarter.
The key to that play, Dave, was Fisher, the way he followed through with the ball, the fake after the play, because it froze those guys inside and allowed Schmaltz to get outside. He looks like he got it by the nose of the football.
Yep. They pick up the first down. When he went out of bounds, it looked like he clearly had it, but there was some question with the marker being on the far side of the field. Big first down for the Trojans. They need to get it in the end zone. They've been so close on a number of occasions and just haven't been able to put it in.
Well, a lot of mistakes, a lot of penalties, as well as turnovers. We've had several fumbles and interceptions in this game. It's been a sloppy game, considering, again, it's in the middle of the season.
Clock starts, 25 and counting down here in the third quarter. In motion, Whiteland. Handoff on the dive, Fisher. Dives forward for 4 or 5 yards, and again, a good pickup on first down.
And again, what they're doing is they're following the motion man. That time it's Whiteland, number 25. He comes down the line of scrimmage, and all Fisher does is follow his block.
Second down and 5 will be coming up as we end the third quarter and go into the fourth now, with the score still 7-6. A 1-point lead for the Trojans of Clawson coming in here at Avondale. And these two teams at the beginning of the season were picked to be right up there in the MOAC. And they're showing us a good battle here tonight. But it's been filled with turnovers and mistakes, as you said, Bob.
So it's been pretty much a defensive battle. Although the defense hasn't really forced the turnovers, the offense are just making the mistakes.
This is where they stand right now in the MOAC as of this taping. And Clawson sits on top 2-0, 4-0 overall. Right behind him, Centerline at 3-1, but they're 1-1 in the conference. Lincoln is 1-0 in the conference. So there's still some confusion there, and Avondale 1-1. So a big Avondale victory here could even things up with Clawson and Avondale. Then things can get sorted out towards the end of the year.
Well, anything can happen in a 7-6 ball game, especially with all the turnovers that have happened so far. We've already had a blocked extra point. We've had a fumble on a punt. We've had several interceptions as well as fumbles. And that's really turned the tide for the game. The turnovers have been the key.
And now we head into the fourth quarter as we see the fans trying to keep warm with some hot chocolate down there.
You don't think he's drinking coffee yet, do you?
Decaf. Second down and let's say about 6 yards here for the Trojans as we start the fourth quarter here at Avondale. In motion, Whiteland. Hand off to the tailback. Fisher finds some room. He's into the backfield, picks up the first down, and across the 15 and into Avondale territory, deep into Avondale territory.
A little different here. Whiteland goes in motion right, but watch, it comes back the opposite way this time. Fisher on a little misdirection comes back across the guard hole, and Bowlby at 39 makes the tackle, because if he didn't, Fisher had an open lane to the goal line. A little different wrinkle that time, running a little misdirection against the motion man. They've been running with the motion man as a blocker, something a little different, and it's a big gainer for him.
Ball at about the 14-yard line, 1st and 10. Whiteland in motion again, and again it's Fisher. Fisher, gain of about 7 or 8 yards on that one, and the Trojans are doing it on the ground here, Bob.
Picking up that extra blocker is making a big difference for him. He's being able to block down on the linebacker coming through. You're going to see Fisher follow the blocking again. Watch 25. He's going to cut upfield. Watch him pick 74 out. Nice block right there. Fisher follows that hole, able to get 7 or 8 yards.
And the key, Bob, is just to stand your man up for that split second for the back to get through.
Well, that's exactly right, but he made a great block that time on Gary Nix. Nix is 6'3", 200.
Yeah, and we've been calling Gary Nix's names a few times here, number 74, throughout the night. So that's a big guy that he's blocking.
Whiteland's only 152 pounds, so he did a great job.
Same thing again, this time a counter, and Yellow Jackets read it. It'll be 3rd and short yardage coming up now.
You know, anytime you can block a guy that outweighs you by 50 pounds, you're doing a heck of a job, so I got to give him credit for that.
3rd and about 2 coming up now. Bringing in the play is Paul Means, number 4, going out is 14, Jeff Steffen.
This Trojan team missed one of their big play hitters. The big hitters, Chris Gardner, went out with an injury in practice. He had a bruised kidney, so he's not playing. He's one of their big players, too. He's 6'4", 200, so that could be affecting their defense.
Big play here, Whitelam in motion. Handoff to Fisher, and looks like he does pick up the first down. Fisher gets inside the 5, and he needed to get to the 4. Let's see if they mark it. They're going to try to get a measurement here. Let's see. No, they're giving it a first down signal.
Yep, Hutchins looking over his shoulder there is hoping his defense can hold this Trojan team. Even to a field goal would be a great thing to do, because then they would have to get a touchdown to take the lead. So this is a big defensive series if they're able to stop them. They've got first and goal at the 4. Let's see what they can do.
About the 4.
Straight dive, and this time number 33 for the touchdown, and that is Dave Aller. Well, Fisher got him there, and Dave Aller takes it in.
Well, Aller hasn't carried the ball too often here in the second half. I believe that's his first carry, but it sure was an effective one for the touchdown. He'll foul Fisher this time. You'll watch Aller. Here's the handoff. There's Fisher blocking down on 74. Boy, they're blocking him good. But he followed him right through the hole for the touchdown. A little off-tackle play.
And the extra point attempt now. This is crucial for the Trojans, as the Yellow Jackets missed their extra point. This is no good. And this is interesting now, as the Yellow Jackets can find something to cheer about here, because it's 13-6.
That was a tough call. I was looking where the ball ended up behind the goal post, and from my angle, of course, I don't have a good angle, but it looked like it was drilled right through the middle of the uprights. But obviously the ref's seen it differently. They're on the field. They've got a better angle on it.
That might be the disadvantage of kicking it so high. He really gets it underneath it and kicks it up.
Well, he got it high, but I'll tell you what, it's difficult for me to defend him kicking the ball around the goal with that ball coming back right in the middle there, so I don't know.
Well, the refs are down there, have a good angle, and you can see some of the fans here get the blanket on the stands here, because those things can get cold sometimes. But on the other side, you can see the good turnout for the Clawson fans.
Well, they are 4-0, leading the division, so they've had a good following here this year. Clawson is a little bit of a drive up here, probably a good 15 or 20 miles, so they've had a little bit of drive to get up here.
And they have something to cheer about. 13-6, they lead. Let's see the Clawson fans on the other side. 4-0 for the Clawson Trojans. And a good boot this time.
Watch that ball.
It hits right on the goal line. They've got to take it.
He doesn't know it yet.
And Hutchins is nailed inside the 5-yard line. Now, you're told as a receiver to let anything inside the 5, just let it go into the end zone. Well, this one didn't go into the end zone. It hit right on the goal line and bounced back.
That's the second time that's happened. One time near the sideline, but this time on the goal line. The exact same play as before. He even fumbles the ball when he gets it. By the time he does, there's 2 guys on him. He's looking to get a safety. Oh, that's big trouble right there. I'll tell you what, the Yellow Jackets are buried deep. They've got 94 yards to go, and it's against the wind.
And that is the problem that I told you about. The Yellow Jackets really had to take advantage of that third quarter where they had the wind at their back. Now, they've got to go against the wind. Back to pass, Hutchins. Hutchins going outside to Allen, and he pays for it as Fisher is right there to hit him.
Well, he had time to throw the ball, but I'll tell you what, Allen was not open. The ball was thrown late, and it was overthrown.
He did have another receiver downfield. It was a little bit more free to get to. But
he is looking at Allen all the way. Does not check off to another receiver. Throws the ball over his head. And that's the key to a young quarterback, is being able to look off a receiver who isn't open and being able to pick up that secondary receiver crossing, because he did have somebody open.
8:59, clock stopped there. We're in the fourth quarter here at Avondale. Clawson Trojans lead 13-6. Hutchins Handing off, no. Fakes on the dive, pitches out to Allen. Big play for the Yellow Jackets as Allen breaks free down the sideline for the first down. Big play for the Yellow Jackets as they get away from their end zone.
Talking about dodging a bullet, you're going to see Hutchins right here pitching the ball out, and I'll tell you what, this had to be a perfect pitch as he was almost tackled as he got rid of the ball. Good fake right there. Takes three guys out of the play. Hutchins still has the ball, pitches the ball back right on Allen. Allen gets the ball in stride, is able to turn up. He's a little straight arm there and picks up another 10 yards.
1st and 10, ball at the 21-yard line. Hutchins loses it and will fall on it. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 10 now.
Didn't get the snap out of center. And take a look right here. Let's see if he gets the ball. Here's the snap back. Does he have it? No. Let's see. That's real slow motion. There's the snap. It comes right up into his chest, and the ball drops straight down.
Had it momentarily now. 2nd and 10 for the Yellow Jackets. Hutchins has one man up top, split backfield. Back to pass, rolls out left and throws back across to Allen and short of his intended receiver, Joey Allen.
Didn't quite set up on the pass that time, threw off of his front foot, and that's why he threw the ball down into the ground. He gets ample time again with a double tight end set. He's getting good blocking. As he rolls left, it's a tough setup. Now watch him throw off his front foot right there. Just barely throws it right in the ground.
3rd and 10 now. Another passing down for the Yellow Jackets as they are at their own 21-yard line. Up top is Deshaun Allen. He's got Agboka and Joey Allen in the backfield. Rolling out right, throws left. He's got Joey Allen in the open. Allen cutting across, has a 1st down. Good effort by Joey Allen to pick up the 1st down in heavy traffic.
And John Jansen just slammed him to the ground once he got by it. This is an excellent call, screenplay. Now watch, this is the first time they've gotten pressure on him. They should realize, because they got in the backfield, they must be calling something. He looks off at the last second, throws left to Allen. Now watch Allen, a great run right here, cutting the ball up the middle, taking back across his receiver. And watch 30 coming into play right here. Watch Jansen just slap him to the ground. Right there, boom.
Let's go, Let's go. 1st and 10 for the Yellow Jackets on a big 3rd down conversion. Hutchins to throw and almost intercepted by Dave Aller.
It's exactly what that linebacker's supposed to do. Go back into a hook zone pattern, look for the ball. This is what he's doing right here. A 2-step drop back. There's the fake, takes 2 steps back and throws the ball. The linebacker is going back 10 yards, looking for a zone, then he looks for the ball. And that's what he did. Nice tip drill. They practice that, trying to tip the ball up in the air so one of the other defenders can get the ball.
7:31 left here in the game. Ball on the 36-yard line of the Yellow Jackets. 2nd and 10. Dennis Hutchins, the quarterback. Takes to the first man through and the counter play. The reverse to Deshaun Allen, and Allen cuts upfield, but nothing there.
There was nothing there because the captain, John Jansen, stood his ground. He's going to be coming down your left-hand screen. 65 is watching him come through, but it was excellent read that time. 33 on the tackle, actually.
And Dave Aller forced him to go upfield, and he made the tackle.
Well, the key to the whole play, though, we're going to have to give a little credit where credit is due, was the lineman coming in and forcing him to go outside.
Hutchins calls the signals now on a 3rd and 9. Fake to the dive, and his intended receiver down there was Tim Grant. And just missed his number.
He's lucky Brian Fisher wasn't called for interference. Looks like he might have hit a little push on the back. I don't know. We'll see on the replay here. Again, he's got time on the slant pattern as he goes back there, faking it in to get the linebacker staying. And here's the pass. Let's see if we can see Fisher. He's right over his back.
Grant had good position, too, on Fisher, but no call down there. 4th and 9, and a punting down for the Yellow Jackets now as they give it up with 6:48 left. It'll be Grant to punt. Into the wind, and the wind still blowing hard out there. Gets it high.
a nice punt.
And nobody there to return.
Oh, bad bounce.
Bad bounce, but still hits it out to about the 36-yard line of the Trojans.
Well, that was a good drive for the sake that they got out of the shadow of the end zone. They started, remember, on the 4-yard line. Were able to bring it out and at least give the Trojans not very good field position for they have to come down and score on a 60-yard drive. So that did help them. That was a good play.
So the fans looking at our TCI truck over the edge there.
Maybe they're throwing things down on it.
Hopefully not.
So look at us up in the press box. We're nice and warm up here.
And so are the folks in the truck. And off, second man through Fisher, hit at the line and no gain there. 6:10 left in the game. Yeah, let's take a look.
Fisher again with the handoff, following as the blockers. He's way deep in the backfield. He's taking it deep so he can look to see if he can pick a hole. And there's nothing really there.
2nd and 10 coming up now as we see Tony Messina in his first year here for the Yellow Jackets. And the clock not on his side right now. 5:40 and counting down here in the 4th quarter. 13-6, his team trails with the Trojans having the ball. In motion, Whiteland. Handoff to Fisher, and Fisher is hit again at the line of scrimmage. Gain maybe a yard. It'll be 3rd and long.
The Yellow Jackets are closing down on defense. They're starting to look for Fisher because he's carried the ball quite a bit here in the second half. If right now, if the Trojans are able to put a drive together without even putting any points on the board, it puts a lot of pressure on the Yellow Jackets to come back against the wind and put some points on. Keep in mind, too, if the Trojans put a field goal on, that pretty much puts this game out of reach. Score right now 13-6. Field goal would make it 16-6. They need 2 scores.
3rd and about 8 coming up now. Watch Schmaltz to throw. Timeout called by the Trojans, and I think Dick Moore wanted this one.
Well, this is a big first down. If they're able to continue to hold on to the ball, that eats the clock. 4 minutes and 50 seconds left. I'll tell you what, they knock into their 2 or 3 minutes. It's going to be very difficult for this Yellow Jacket team to come down and score on them.
And you don't want to give it back to him right now as we see Tony Messina on the sideline.
He wants that ball back because I tell you what, his offense has shown some life. They've been able to put some yardage on the board, but have not really been able to capitalize on any of the mistakes by the Trojans.
Dick Moore in the middle of his huddle, talking to his offense. He definitely wants to pick up this first down again. It's a key first down so he can eat up more of the clock. Right now, 4 minutes, plenty of time for the Yellow Jackets to get into that end zone.
A good call on something like this would be a screen or a draw play, trying to take advantage of the defense and having them come upfield. They're going to try to rush the passer, try to put some pressure on him, and if they do that, a draw or a screen will take that pressure away.
So the score, 13-6. Here we go. We're not in 4-down territory. 3rd and about 8. Schmaltz pitches out. Parche. He's got the first down.
They must have saw something, because I'll tell you what, that is the first time that they've run that play today, pitching out to Parche, watching him pick up yardage along the sideline. So let's take a look if they took advantage of the defensive alignment.
A definite passing down, but they go to the ground, and Jim Parche there to take
what
it.
they're doing is they're pulling out the guard and the tackle. They're leading the drive, and then Parche takes the ball down the sideline and gets the first down. That's a huge play.
A little bit of the old-fashioned slow motion with the shutter in there for you.
Shutter motion.
Yes.
I was able to see it, though.
Yes.
I just blinked while it was going on.
Just over midfield now. And the Trojans pick up a big first down. They go to the same play again. Parche, gain of about 3 this time.
And again, what they're doing is pulling the guard and the tackle. Paul Schroeder was leading the way that time. He's 6'2", 244. Now, if you're out there blocking against a couple of these small 180, 190-pound guys, I'll tell you what, that's a ton to stop. They've got a pretty decent size offensive line. You can see right there, there's some pretty big boys.
2nd down. And about 6 yards.
Again, on
closer to 7, really.
Really, on that side, too. Jansen's on that side, too.
Yeah.
So he's 245.
Some big blockers over there. And they go with one back in the backfield. And the handoff to Fisher. Fisher, the line of scrimmage, maybe gains a yard on it. And he does. It'll be 3rd and 5.
And again, they're running with double tight ends here with the slot. Here comes Fisher. Here's the big number 70 come pulling on the play, but the defensive end came in and pinched in and made the nice tackle.
And the Yellow Jackets call timeout now with 3:22 left. They see a chance to get the ball back here.
When they go to those trips, you're going 4-3. You got to play that run all the way. You're going to come back. Now you watch the pitch and pass.
Okay, here, if they go to that trip on the short side of the field, okay, you go all the way out, okay, on the outside guy. Outside guy? I'm sorry, who's the rover? Jason. Okay, you go all the way out on the outside guy.
Outside shoulder, right on him.
Right on him, and don't let him inside. You come all the way out on the middle guy, okay, and if they throw it or quick pitch it, you come up in a 10 collar, okay? Don't let him dump it to Jansen. Get in his face wherever he's at. If he's up on the right,
well, that's good coaching right there. You know, they want to make sure that Jansen doesn't get on that slant play. That's been the big play for him, where they just have Jansen go across the middle, throw the ball up, and let him take the ball and run with his big size. So if they can pop Jansen right at the line of scrimmage, keep him from getting downfield, that's going to take that play away from him.
Now they're looking for Jansen. They're well aware of his ability, and he's definitely a guy you got to key on here as he comes over to the left side of the offensive line now. He's been on the right side, blocking pretty much. Let's see what they go for. 3rd and 5. In motion, Whiteland. They go with the dive. Fisher breaks into the backfield, has the first down.
Wow. I'll tell you what, another huge play on 3rd down and 4. And Fisher, again, just fouled Whiteland coming across as the motion man, brings up the extra blocker. Now, they're going to Jansen's side every time. They're switching right, left, right, left. Now, Jansen was on the right-hand side the first 2 plays of the drive, and they came down for the first down, blocking down. Jansen comes down to the other side and the left side, blocks down again. They foul Whiteland with the extra blocker, and Fisher has an excellent run for the first down.
And the clock winding down on Tony Messina's team. Just under 3 minutes now, 2:55 and counting. Back to 2 men in the backfield for the Yellow Jackets. In motion, Fisher. Handoff this time to Dave Aller. Aller gains a couple of yards.
That offensive line can smell victory now. They're starting to pound out a little further. That offensive line actually got him those 2 yards because there was no hole there.
What a great time for a long drive for the Trojans. Yellow Jackets really need to stop them here. They still have about 2 minutes, but they've got to come up either with a turnover or a big stop here, and the Trojans are in 4-down territory.
Keep in mind, Dave, the key to this drive, too, has been no penalties. That's the first time that they've had that here in the second half.
Let's go, full house in the backfield. And the second man through. Parche comes up with a big 2nd down carry, close to a first down. But I think he's going to be just shy.
He is going to be shy. And again, the key is the offensive line. He doesn't have to make a move to 4 yards into the backfield. Take a look right here. Watch the blocking up front. Excellent blocking. He's 4 yards downfield before he's even hits into a guy. So that's excellent blocking that time.
Here we see the Yellow Jackets on the sideline, wishing they could contribute, but hey, only 11 guys on the field. And
at a time.
At a time. They've got to do it right now. 3rd and 1. In motion, Whiteland. Hand off on the dive. Parche bounces outside, try to pick up some more, and finally brought down after a gain of about 3 yards.
Well, that's all he needed was 1 for the first down, and he got it. They'll stop the clock momentarily while they pull the downs. Now here's against Whitelam in motion again. They're going to follow him a little bit. That's what they're going to do. To give it to Parche coming over Whitelam's block. He bounces off a few guys, almost gets outside, and now it's time for the Yellow Jackets to try to strip that ball away.
1:18 left on the clock. Dick Moore at the center of your screen, talking things over. And it looks like he's counting on a 5-0 season right now.
I'll tell you what, this has been a tough game for both of these teams. Turnovers have been the key, obviously. But again, the sloppy play of both these teams in the mid-season is a surprising feature.
Trojans have picked it up quite a bit, though, here in the second half.
Well, the second half started off with quite a few penalties, but this drive in particular,
fourth quarter, excuse me.
Okay.
1:18 left in the game. 13-6 the score. And a 1st and 10 for the Trojans. Yellow Jackets using their, I believe, second timeout right now. And there you see the picture. Ball at about the 24-yard line. And the Trojans just pretty much want to eat up the clock, and if they can get in the end zone, great.
I believe they have two timeouts still left. They haven't called one yet, so that was the first one. So they're able to stop the clock on the next 2 downs. So that should pretty much do it.
And now look for the Yellow Jackets to be going for the ball, stripping, or trying to just reach in and cause a fumble and make something happen.
Come on, defense! Get ball on!
1:18 left. Handoff on a dive, and it seemed like Fisher just stood straight up after he got the ball. Didn't even want to go forward.
Once he realized that he did not have a hole, he just wanted to hold on to the ball. So you'll see him cradle the ball and just protect it after he realized there was no hole there. Take a look. Here's the handoff. Fisher just following his blockers. Now watch. He'll stop right there. Realize he's going to watch his hands. Look at his hands. He's going to cover the ball. That's all he's trying to do. Make sure he doesn't fumble it.
And the clock continues to roll.
Surprised they haven't called a timeout, unless I miscounted, but I thought they had 2 left. They're going to let this one run way down, and they're going to take a delay of game penalty, which will push them back 5 yards. But the key to this also is not the delay of game, but they wasted 30 seconds.
And now a timeout called. And a timeout is called by the Trojans.
And that's a good call. Now they can sit back and discuss what they want to call here. They've got 2nd and 15. That timeout meant nothing in regards to stopping the clock. You can see right here, looks a little worried, a little glassy-eyed at this point. Says his team wanted to win. That's Jeff Wilson.
Jeff Wilson will be back next year, and coming up next Tuesday and Thursday, don't forget to tune in for the Master Angler Show with your host, right there on your screen, Mark Gomez, the Master Angler himself, at 7 p.m. right here on TCI 63. And hopefully one day he'll get.
I wonder if he can use that big yellow jacket there as bait for when you go fishing.
That thing? What did you catch?
I don't know.
.38 seconds left here in the ball game as the Trojans try to run out the clock. 2nd and 15.
They're going into where he's going to probably just put his knee on the ground.
Yeah.
Take a look at this.
Timeout called by Avondale now, with 35 seconds left on the clock. Yellow Jackets doing anything they can to try to get that ball back. They would like to strip it, but really, when you're in this situation, the quarterback just goes back one knee, and that's it.
Well, even if they get the ball back, let's say they go to 4th down, they call their timeouts, and they've got the ball with 20 seconds left. Keep in mind, they're going against a 25-mile-an-hour wind. The odds of him throwing the ball downfield more than 20 or 30 yards, it's pretty remote. Unless they pull up a trick play, one of those hitch-type plays where, you know, the receiver catches the ball, pitches it back to the guys who's coming out.
Here we are on screen, beautiful press box area here. And I tell you what, this is really nice to have a press box like this, warm.
It's a lot nicer than sitting on one side in the wind, that's for sure. And there's our fans. They're in with the elements.
Mixed in.
Yes, mixed in, between the raindrops.
Here and there. Here we go, 3rd and 15. And the Trojans just want to run it out. Let's see what happens. They're hoping for a bad snap is what they're hoping for. And they don't get it that time, and the clock continues to roll now. So the Clawson Trojans.
Well, if they're out of timeouts, that'll be the ball game.
They'll be going to 5-0 on the season. And 3-0 in the conference, in the Macomb-Oakland Athletic Conference. And that'll do it. As the Avondale Yellow Jackets come off the field trying to upset the Trojans here tonight, but it would not happen. A close battle throughout the game, and then finally the Trojans putting it away here in the fourth quarter with their final score. And the final tonight, 13-6. Dick Moore heads on to his 5th victory of the season, and looks like he's on top of the MOAC. And Coach Tony Messina shaking hands there with Dick Moore as we see the Trojans 13-6 over Avondale. Let's take a look at the Clawson touchdown here in the fourth quarter as this put it away for him.
Big play right here. You can watch the blocking, and the key is Fisher's block right there. Was able to spring.
Dave Aller.
Great block in there, but Aller takes the ball over the tackle, over the end zone for the touchdown. That was his first carry of the half, and it was good for 6 points.
And that made it 13-6 as the extra point was no good. And there we see head coach Dick Moore congratulating, or rather shaking hands with the Yellow Jackets on a good effort, really, by both teams. And there we see one of the top tight ends in the nation, John Jansen, as he goes off the field. And really a key like that in the game, because your opponent focuses so much on a player like that.
I think the biggest part to his game today was his blocking. He made some nice catches and runs after, but his blocking really sprung him for a couple key first downs on this last drive, which ate up the clock and took the game away from the Yellow Jackets.
Fisher, a workhorse for the Trojans and Dick Moore's team, and Aaron Schmaltz, the quarterback, doing a great job, not only offensively but defensively, coming up with an interception to end the first half there. And that'll do it, really, from Avondale High School. We'll be back to wrap things up here as Dick Moore talks to his team, going to 5-0 on the season. We'll be back right after this.
If you wish a video cassette of TCI Sports, the cost is $25. Send a check payable to TCI, along with your name, address, and the names of the teams that played in the game, to TCI Sports Videotapes, 4500 Delamere Boulevard, Royal Oak, Michigan, 48073. Remember to tell us which game you wish to receive. And thank you for watching TCI Sports. Dress for battle and join in the action as Pat and Bubba take you to Almont, Michigan to experience the game of paintball. You'll see firsthand what it's like on the paintball field as the guys narrate their way through the fierce battle. So for the best in pop music videos and all the paintball action, watch Roadshow Video. Coming up next on TCI 63.
Back here at Dick Bye Field here at Avondale High School, where the Avondale Yellow Jackets just couldn't really put it together here in the final quarter to top the Trojans of Clawson 13-6. And the Trojans came in 4-0, and they live up to that record, going 5-0 now. Let's take a look at the final stats for you as we wrap things up here at Avondale. 123 rushing for Clawson, a lot of that by Fisher, Brian Fisher. 65 for Avondale. Passing, Avondale had the edge, 112 to 57. Total yards, and it was very close, as the score was also 180 to 177, Bob.
Yeah, that was a key thing right there. Just look on the stats. Turnovers 5 for Avondale, and the real telltale statistic there you really can't see is 2 kickoffs that were taken pretty much on the goal line and gave Avondale some very bad field position that really hurt them in this game.
First downs, 23 to 17. Turnovers really hurt Avondale. They had 5 as opposed to Clawson's 3, and a lot of sloppy play towards the end of the first half and beginning of the second half. And time of possession really switched around when Clawson took that last long drive and just drove it down the field, ate up a lot of the clock.
They took about 6 minutes off the clock on that drive with no penalties, 4 or 5 first downs, and a couple key third down plays, and that made the difference in this game. They never gave the ball back.
Let's take a look at our scoring by quarters. First quarter, and really the Clawson Trojans picking it up inside the 10-yard line at the 6 and putting it in with the extra point, made it 7-0. And then right back in the second quarter, the Yellow Jackets came back on a pass. It was from Hutchins to Hansen, and that was a 35-yard touchdown pass. The extra point was no good, and that made it 7-6, and that's where we stood until the fourth quarter when the Trojans came back, and it was Aller on a 4-yard run to make it 13-6, and that's where we stood with the final score. And again, the Clawson Trojans with a big drive at the end, just finishing it off and eating up all of the clock. Don't forget to tune in to Roadshow Video coming up next here on TCI 63, and that'll be on every Saturday and Monday at 9 p.m. So tune in to that coming up right after the ball game. And for all of us here at TCI Sports, I'm Dave Zorin, Bob Griglack, and our hardworking staff. The final score, the Clawson Trojans 13 and the Avondale Yellow Jackets 6. We'll see you next week on the TCI Game of the Week.